Oh, sorry again. We're here at the Warehouse Gym in Port Talbot for all your training needs. I'm joined by Swansea boxer James "Lights Out Lilley. James, I believe you got some big news for us.
Yeah, I've been inactive on the boxing scene for a couple of years. Obviously, I've been doing other stuff. And I got my licence back, and it looks like I'm going to be making a return on 20th September, which is 3 weeks today. If everything goes to plan, there's a couple of hurdles, like my medicals have run out, and we're trying to get them sort of pushed through as quick as possible. They should be sorted next week. So yeah, 20th September.
As you mentioned, you've been away from boxing for quite a while. Were you always going to be drawn back to glove boxing? Was that something you always wanted to get back into?
Yeah, I've never been out of love with boxing. You can probably find why I was disgruntled last time, and I was pretty pissed off of it, and I had other avenues to go down. But I'm always around, the boys sparring, help me prepare for sort of the other stuff I was doing. I'm always sparring the boys in the gym, and I'm doing well. It's not like I've been in many wars, or I've lost my touch a little bit. Might be a bit fatter and a bit slower, but no, I love boxing. It's what I've been into since I was 11, 12 years old, and I just fancied another run at it, to win a belt in pro boxing. It was something I wanted to do. It's a prestigious thing to be a professional boxer. You can't just get picked up off the street and chucked in. You got to go get licenses and get medicals. And a couple of my friends have said, why don't you just have one last go, because the other stuff will always be there. Boxing, it's a small window.
I think you mentioned on your podcast about maybe a month ago or 8 weeks ago or something, the difference between being a pro boxer and the process compared to just being an MMA fighter, just for example, but how difficult it is to be a British Boxing Board of Control licensed fighter.
Yeah. What people don't realise who are not involved in the sport, they'll look at like journeyman, for example. It's like a guy who's got 4 wins, 100 losses, and they'll be like, oh, anyone can do it. But that journeyman probably was a national champion. He might not be a ticket seller. He might want to get the money on it and go on the road. And they're losing all the time, and they're going in front of the board, and they're not getting hurt. So the board has still got to approve their fights. So it's not like anyone could just turn up and be like, I want to be a pro boxer. Curtis Woodhouse is a good example. When he was going to turn pro after playing top level football, they went to the gym and watched him spar, and to say that it's that he's not just he fancies to be a boxer. They refused what's the Man United football player, Rio Ferdinand's license the other day because what? Oh, but there's lots of drug cheats in boxing, Richie. We know this. Come on. Dylan White. Yeah, so, no, but, and, MMA's, fallen in line a little bit now. They got, the safe MMA where you got to have your medicals done, brain scans, and you can't fight on safe MMA shows unless you have it done. So, they will eventually get in line with it, but boxing's been there since, 19th century. They've had these rules in place, so yeah, it said it's very hard to get the license. It was touch and go whether I was going to get mine back, I'll be honest, but completely different process. The other, you could just rock up. The other ones with a pair of shorts.
And also Welsh boxing is, I suppose, a little bit of a boom recently, especially since I've been involved anyway. There's never been as many shows, professional shows on in Wales as there is at the moment. Of course, S4C are involved as well. Does that get you excited just to be back in that mix? Do you look at guys thinking, I could beat that guy, or I do it right against that guy? Is that your mentality?
Pretty much think that about everyone, but boxing's thriving at the moment. We got 4 British champions. The Welsh title. I don't know. Angelo said it on the podcast last night that the Welsh title disappeared for a couple of years. I think before Chris Ware won it. It was hardly heard of, and people are fighting for Welsh titles all the time now. It's become prestigious again. People want to fight for it, and there's shows everywhere. And I think the Welsh boys get recognition now because you had people, even like people like JR, they were signed with Frank Warren, and they were just leaving them go. And we signed with MTK now. We've seen that there's this huge pool of Welsh talent, and they're going to use us. And it'd be good to get a base in Wales because from what I've seen of the boys around, unless even if you're signed with like Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn, it doesn't exactly mean you're going to get to the top. It's because you're so far away from them, they get forgotten about.
And even within Wales, there's a bit of a split, which I know you've talked about quite a bit in the past, between sort of East Wales, Swansea, sort of West Wales, you've got Swansea, Carmarthen and Pembroke, etc. Then you've got where the main hub of boxing is Cardiff, Newport. But it just seems recently there's a show announced for the 13th September involving the Welsh title in Swansea, which is great, obviously, for boxers in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, exactly. I can remember turning pro years ago. Paul Boyce had finished. I went with Nick Hodges and he was trying to do a couple of shows in Swansea, but he didn't have the financial backing. The Sanegas, they always do like shows in, like you said, Bristol, Newport and Cardiff, but I think they've seen now that there's boys further west who sell tickets, who good talents, so it makes sense for shows on in Swansea. You've got Angelo and Tuzi from Swansea, Carmarthen, who are bringing crowds with them. You've got Jig Anthony from Ammanford. Those boys might not have boys who'd be able to like travel to London every week, but if you put shows on in Swansea and the surrounding areas, you're going to get bodies there, and the show pays for itself. Then it's pointless. It don't make sense. The weekend's fight, you got Joe Cordina versus Gavin Gwynn on the undercard of Lomachenko Campbell. I know it's a huge show and thing, but can you imagine that in somewhere like Cardiff? It would sell out on its own.
So your comeback fight, 20th September. Have you got an opponent yet?
I haven't got to wait yet. They got to stop me in. No, not yet. As I say, we're just trying to get the medicals pushed through before it's finalised. I'm hoping to compete at sort of 11 stone-ish. But yeah, 20th of September.
So you mentioned as well that the Welsh title, which I presume is your aim to fight for the Welsh title at 11 stone, light middle or super welter, whatever you prefer. There's not many Welsh light middleweights out there, so I mean, who might you be fighting for that title?
Well, I was offered on my comeback fight, the Welsh title fight on the comeback fight, but I'll fight anyone. I'm brave, but I'm not stupid. I would have had 5 weeks to prepare for a 10-round fight against a guy who JJ Evans, who's like 8-0. He's been active, so even that would have been a bit of a leap for me. 5 weeks to 4 rounds is a bit of a leap for me the way I've been eating and drinking. But I'll fight anyone as long as I get a decent camp behind me. So we'll get September out the way, and then we'll look to see who's about. I can make welterweight if it's the day before weighing. That's not a problem. It's whatever's option and whoever's going to cough up the cheese, to be honest.
So might we expect then to see you fighting JJ Evans, providing your comeback fight goes okay on the 20th?
Possibly, yeah. Said we'll look to see what happens on the 20th now. I won't look past that. 'Cause I'm, as you can probably tell the way I am, I'm the type of guy who's got like 15 fight offers on the table in different sports and stuff. So I don't like to try and think too far ahead because I'll get myself confused and end up doing Luftwai in Thailand or something.
With glove boxers, yourself included, ticket sales are important. So I mean, if there's any fans out there watching this interview who'd like to get tickets off you, how do they go about contacting you?
If they hang about on Twitter, they'll probably see someone retweeting me or on Instagram. That's where they find me. I'm not on Facebook. Not a big fan of it, but I'm easy enough to find. The Lights Out one on Twitter and James Lilley 86 on Instagram. So anyone wants to come along, hit me up. I'm a good laugh to party with after as well, so that's an added bonus if you want to get a ticket. And
where are you actually training at the moment? Have you got a permanent gym you're training at, and who are you training with?
I train here in Port Talbot mainly because I work in Bridgend. So I've got Josh Kagan downstairs who takes care of my strength and conditioning, and James Wallace upstairs. I've been down Portmead with Boxer Tricks with Jason Williams as well for a bit of extra boxing. Done a bit with Richie. and Jack to a king. So yeah, I'm a bit all over. Because I work in Bridgend and I work away, it's just whatever's convenient for me, and I can't stick to certain times, unfortunately. And I got a newborn in the house screaming, so it's whenever he lets me out as well, to be honest.
Do you think you're still improving as a boxer? Is it still, obviously you reach a point where you're not going to improve anymore, but do you still think you're on the improving?
Yeah, I think I've definitely changed as a boxer. When I first went pro, I still had a very sort of amateur style. I was still very sort of aggressive. As I changed like a couple of trainers along the way, I changed my style a bit, and I think these days I'm more of sort of a back foot fighter. I like to fight in the back foot, but I also like to get involved in the tear. But I think my ring experience and craft has changed. So I'm a lot better at conserving energy. I find my training's changed as well. I can remember before, I think I fought Chris Brophy down the Brownwood Hall. I was training flat out, no rest days, and it was probably the fittest I've ever been, but I burnt out in the 4th round. Now I seem to be doing less, but able to, prolong my activity in the ring, and I don't know whether that's just because I've been fighting so long, it's like a muscle memory, I don't know, but my training seems to be, and I think the science has changed as well behind training, so it's more, pointed in one direction rather than, you doing stuff that might not actually benefit boxing.
So you're willing to try new methods, I suppose, is what you're saying?
Yeah, do you know what? Especially when I was coming here in the morning with Josh, no training session was the same. One day he'd have me out in the car park doing sprints. He'd have me on the battle ropes. He'd have me on. There's a machine in the warehouse in Swansea. It's got a metal thing that goes around the shoulders, and you got to run uphill on it. Oh, that's the devil. The way I invent that's the devil. That if I go to hell, they'll have that as my torture device. I hate that. But yeah, it's a mix up every day, and I think you need variety and changing. With boxing, it's pretty much the same thing. It's bags, pads, sparring, and then your strength conditioning. I think you've got to add the variety in your strength conditioning, and I like to go swimming when I can as well, just to change it up, because otherwise you're going to get bored and you're just going to end up cutting corners because you know what you're doing.
And who have you been sparring with recently in regards to boxing?
Well, I've to be honest, I had a bit of a break from my event in June. I've just had a baby, so I've only been doing a bit of cardio. My first sparring back was yesterday morning. Was it, Ange? Was it this morning? Yeah, so yeah. See, I'm not punch drunk on us. I passed my medical. Yesterday morning, I'd done some rounds with Angelo, helping him prepare for his Welsh title fight. I got some sparring Sunday morning. I've been in contact with Andrew Morgan up Mountain Ash, and he's got Tony Dixon, I think Morgan Jones and a couple of others going up there. Me and Goody will probably be punching each other in the face up here on one morning next week. Doing a bit with Rocky Morgan. It's whoever really, I don't like to do too much sparring. I know some people like to spar 2-3 days in a row. I try and knock a punch in the face as minimal as possible at the moment, because I know Richie's looking at me like he wants to punch me in the face at the minute. But no, yeah, I try not to do as much sparring. I don't think you need to. Twice a week's plenty, and even less as camp goes on.
So good luck for the fight on the 20th. Hopefully you get yourself a shot at the Welsh title as well. And do you want to just mention your social media, how people can follow you, and of course your podcast as well? Oh yeah,
it's for over 18s, all of them are really, because of the language that's used. But my Instagram's James Lilley 86. My Twitter's _lights _out, and TTLO podcast. Don't listen to Ambition is Critical podcast, it's rubbish. Listen to our turn the lights out. We're pretty good for boxing. We're quite up to date on the news. You've been on it yourself. The two guys here have been on it. So if you like boxing chat and you're not getting enough of what's going on in Wales, hook us up on that. We do tend to talk about it sometimes, but
I think it's fair to say that on your podcast there's a wide variety of subjects is covered, as well as boxing and MMA. There's lots of other subjects.
Definitely. I think we talked about for an hour and a half about PlayStation games on Sunday, so.
I think we covered a bit of religion when I was on there as well.
Yeah, we seem to be doing religion every week. We had Struan Coxon on, and he didn't tell us till the end that he went to an all-Christian school where there was only 20 people in it, which, you know, we obviously asked a few questions about that as well there.
Okay, cheers, James. Thanks for having the chat, mate, and good luck, and see you again, mate.